So many of your questions have come through. We've been discussing parenting. I thought today we'll just have a look at some of the questions. I'll put my thoughts down. Hopefully it will help somebody who is now a parent or about to be a parent. How do you make sure your children see Christianity not just as rules, but as a relationship with Jesus? I would say that you just have to go beyond taking your kids to church and move it on to practical application of what they are hearing in church, what you are discussing at home from the Bible, finding practical ways to implement them and giving them that opportunity for them to understand it and also to apply it. How does Proverbs 31 shape your understanding of a godly mother, and what biblical examples of mothers inspire you and why? Can we acknowledge the fact that Proverbs 31 woman is a standard that has been set, that we aspire to, that we sort of use to get better as wives and as mothers? So it's supposed to be there as a guide. It's supposed to be there as a standard. It's supposed to be there to aspire us to be better. What are some ways to deal with feelings of isolation or missing out as a busy mother? So your life has always been on the go, and then you find yourself breastfeeding and then being at home. So I think that when you see it not as a loss, but an addition, like now God has even blessed you with another layer or another degree in your life, it will elevate a bit that sense of I'm stuck in the house, or, I'm having sleepless nights and the child is, you must see it as a great blessing. But you have to try and create a little bit of a me time where you do whatever it's, whether it's just to relax and read or to watch something, create it. For those who are married, it may be easier to get your husband to help, and then give you time to relax. How do you discern and nurture your child's spiritual gifts or interests? I think you should create an environment and give your child the resources and tools, depending on the age of your child, where your child can be exposed to spiritual things, where they can learn something. Sometimes the problem is that we don't realize that from a very young age, as young as possible, children begin to receive. They receive from their friends, they receive from school, they receive from wherever. So what you put in front of them and what you expose them to, like a child who is growing up and give them toys of a certain kind, you realize that they like cars or they like this or they like cooking, because that's what is being exposed to them. Expose them into the right atmosphere and to the right people. What role can the church play in helping mothers and young families thrive spiritually? Whatever is being taught in the church, you as a parent, you are supposed to use that in your training at home. So for you to thrive spiritually, you have to, as a family, the whole family must be brought along. Sometimes you see parents that their children are now maybe 8 or 9 or maybe even their teen years. Then they are coming for prayer meeting, they've left their child. Or they're coming and they say, oh, the child said they didn't want to come. You may be growing spiritually, but it's not a holistic, The family must have a time for fasting, a time for prayer, a time to discuss spiritual things. What strategies do you use to remain calm, Christ-centered during stressful parenting moments? Is there any parent who cannot identify with that? I mean, they press every button possible. Whether it's laziness, whether it's homework, whether it's their friends, whether it's social media. Don't go rebuking your child when you are just emotionally charged. You might say something you will regret. You might speak a word over your child that you would regret. You should have that statement of, I'm not going to talk about this now. We'll address this later. You go to your room, I'll come and deal with you. Even the form of punishment you're going to give or whatever, just calm down. And the calming down may require you maybe to step back, step away, because sometimes you think through it and realize that actually it's not that bad, or maybe it's really bad and you need to put some serious steps in place. But definitely do not act in the moment, especially with your words. The words that a parent speaks over a child has so much power. How do you find time for personal devotion and spiritual growth amidst the demands of motherhood? I think this one is more challenging when you have a newborn or your child is really young. But one of the things you're going to have to do is work with what you have. So if you're a morning person or an evening person, then you wake up, you rise up before children wake up, family wakes up, spend your time with God. If you are an evening kind of person, then when everybody has gone to bed, you find your moments and you fellowship with God, prayer. If you are breastfeeding, I used to do that, because sometimes you have to breastfeed for what? I don't know, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. It's a time that you can spend to pray. So let's not make excuse for ourselves that now I don't have time for the things of God. Don't. Now that you have a child, you even need double portion. So work with what you have. What are some age-appropriate ways to introduce your children to God's love and the Bible? I don't think there's any age to start. 0. When they're born, before they're born in the womb, you're already introducing them, do you understand, to worship music, to the Word of God. And as they grow by age, where they are able to read or where they are able to write, then you introduce them, how to have their quiet time, how to read the Bible, which means that you as a parent, you should be having your quiet time and you should be reading. How do you nurture your relationship with your spouse while raising your children? And how do you maintain unity in marriage when parenting challenges arise? You have to parent as a couple. Otherwise, your marriage will be affected. You have to correct your children as a couple. Have one voice, one sound, one thought. If you don't agree on anything, you discuss that not in the presence of the children. But once you come out, you're coming out as, parents. You're not coming out as mommy says this and daddy says this. Otherwise, it would affect. And then again, your husband and wife time must be created, whether it's weekly, whether it's over coffee, whether it's at home, whether it's over a movie. You have to create it. You have to put in a diary and make it important. What advice do you have for parents regarding shared childcare duties during infancy stage? In certain communities, men almost have been brought up to think that they are not needed when a child is born. You can't breastfeed, you can't do that. But it's not true. Husband and wife have a significant role to play in everything. Nurturing, protecting, guiding, teaching, correcting, loving. Both parents have to. I had a marital counseling session where the husband categorically said that I don't do under 2s. I didn't even understand. But what he was saying is that children under 2, I can't take care of them. But it's not true. And it's not a reality. The world we are living in now, both parents may be working, both parents have all kinds of responsibilities. So you share and you help. And when your spouse is helping, appreciate it, say thank you, acknowledge it. Both of you must take full responsibility, even though, yes, there may be very significant things that one may do better, whether it's housekeeping or in the financial area or whatever, but work together.